So continuing from where we left, we created the base structure for our Foundry theme, and in this video we will look at creating the ceilings and setting up the light for our dungeon. Now let's work with the stairs. So I'm gonna drop in the stairs, and it's giving us an indication of the alignment of the rectangle. So okay, it's right here. So let's drop this in. We need to rotate and bring this back. And we also have this rail guard, so bring that in, rotate, rotate by 90 degrees. And move this up. You can always change the snapping. It works with the editor snapping just works. I'm also going to drop in another one and rotate that to -90, and we need to scale it by -1. So let's do just that, not this. -1, or just use the editor widget itself. Now there is this wall half that we want to cover up, so that is the wall half. Let's go ahead and add a mesh over there. So we have this. Let's rotate it around. Complete. All right, now let's add in the ceilings. So the ceiling, I'm going to double click this, and we have a few ceiling meshes. Let's go ahead and add this. And since the ceiling mesh is 400 and our tile size is 800, we can either scale this or use 4x4. I think we will use 4 of these. So okay, I want to set the value back to 0, set the snapping to 100, and move. Drop in another one. Oops, sorry, not over there. Drop in another one here on the scene. Another one, and one more. Perfect, complete. All right, let's move in and have a look. And things are dark here, and we'll be adding some lights. But before we add the lights, let's set up the scene to suit our light profile so that all the light settings can be worked around it. So select your exponentials. Let's quit from here, get back into selection, and then select the exponential height fog. If you don't have any of these, just go to window, environment light mixer, and start creating them. So let me just do that right away. I've deleted all of it, right? So if I head out, there's nothing, no lights. So go to window, environment light mixer, click, 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 add all of these. Now let's go down here and enable volumetric fog. It's the same as choosing this and then enabling volumetric fog here. So with it and without it, and with it. So we want volumetric fog, and select your directional light and enable ray tracing. Okay, and the exponential height fog, let's push it down a bit. So maybe minus 10,000. Set it to minus 15K. Okay, now let's go ahead and add lights to this scene. I'm going to switch back to the dungeon theme. Now as for the light blueprints, we have something under the props and blueprints folder. We have two variations of these. So go find your wall mesh wall and select these two and drag drop in the graph, and let's connect it up. And when you do, the walls have disappeared because we need to set that flag here. So stop if selected, uncheck it, and we need to adjust the transform. So select this and enter these values. So for the location, enter 0, -50, and for the Z, 380. And right now these tubes are facing in the other direction, so let's rotate it by 180, and you have this. Now we have a lot of lights. We're going to restrict this to have it only on a certain floor. So use selection logic, generic elevation selector, and set it to maybe 1. All right, now we have a problem with this, where if it's level 1, then it's not going to spawn anything here because you don't have level 1 here. This is just a single floor with a level 0 value. So if you look at this node, BP elevation selector, these are simple rules that were created here in the theme, in the Foundry theme. So if I go to the Foundry theme, we go to samples, themes, Foundry rules. These are the rules that you actually see in the drop down. You can create your own rules. So let me show you how the elevation rule looks like. So you start by creating a generic dungeon selector logic, and then you override the select node, and then you grab the tags from here. So let's create our own here. Just go back to the to this folder, save, and then create a new blueprint class, generic dungeon selector logic create. BP, let's call it top floor selector. So this was derived from here, and there is a function that you need to override, which is the select node function. So whenever dungeon architect comes to this node and it needs to decide whether we need to select it or not, it's just going to invoke your function, and here you could decide. So we get access to the marker. So if you're going for this, it'll give you the access, it will give you the instance of that marker, so you can query the tags, and we have a few tags built in. So search for tag, get int tag. So here you can get the elevation from the ground level, whether it's level 1, level 2, and you can also get the maximum elevation. So I'm going to get the elevation from ground, which is your current elevation, and I'm also going to get the maximum elevation. So I want the top floor to be ceiling -1, right? So this -1, and set this value to 1, and just we make it equality check. So if you have a ground floor and another floor on top of it, the ground floor would be index 0, the floor on top of it would be index 1, and then the ceiling would be index 2. So we want to subtract this maximum ceiling elevation by 1 and then make it check. So this would return true only if we are on the top and the top floor. So let's select this, and we should see our blueprint that we created here, top floor selector. It should be visible here. And as soon as you did that, it's working here. Let's go check on that other room. This is a two floor room, works here as well. And over here as well. So great, this is working. All right, real quick, let's fill up some of the other missing stuff. So we have the ceiling edge trim. So I went and double clicked on this node, and let me come out of this. You could decorate this. So there are certain cases where you come out from here and you have the space that you could decorate. So I have a mesh for that as well. So if we go down to the asset packs, meshes, search for trim, just put that here. Done. We also have this space that we need to cover up, so door wall half, just put in this and maybe rotate it. And finally, let's add the door. And we want to scale this up. In the next video, we'll look at the pattern matcher.